Paris Fashion Week, the global temple of style. The city was buzzing with fashion icons, flashing cameras, and couture dreams. And right in the middle of it all stood Meghan Markle, ready to reclaim her throne as a modern style icon. But what was meant to be a glittering comeback turned into a quiet catastrophe. Behind the scenes, whispers grew louder, rumors spread faster than the next designer trend, and soon, Meghan's name was reportedly erased from Balenciaga's internal roster, completely gone, like she never existed. How did one of the world's most famous women end up frozen out of fashion's inner circle? Let's dive into the story behind the silence. When Meghan arrived in Paris, she came prepared for a royal-level takeover, expecting designer collaborations, glossy magazine covers, and luxury contracts that would solidify her as a fashion powerhouse. After all, she had the fame, the charisma, the Netflix spotlight, but the fashion world runs on something more elusive: influence, subtlety, and connections. It's not about who you are, it's about who wants to be seen with you. And apparently, Meghan underestimated the game. According to multiple insiders, the trouble started during fittings and meetings. Meghan reportedly pushed her own creative vision, something that didn't sit well with designers used to delicate diplomacy. There were whisperers of last-minute changes, tense discussions over lighting, and disagreements about wardrobe details. One insider even claimed that a key dress was pulled at the last moment because alterations weren't finished to Meghan's satisfaction. In Hollywood, that's called control. In Paris, it's called a faux pas, because in the high fashion world, respect and restraint go hand in hand, and power plays often backfire. Then came the moment that sent shockwaves through the industry. Balenciaga reportedly wiped Meghan's name from its internal files. For a major fashion house, that's not just a snub, it's a message, a quiet, devastating statement. We're done. The reasons? Unclear. Some suggest creative clashes. Others hint at old rivalries, a possible falling out between someone in Meghan's circle and a Balenciaga insider. Whatever the cause, the effect was immediate. Invitations disappeared. Meetings were canceled. Designers who had once shown interest suddenly went silent. It was as if the city itself turned the lights off. At first, Meghan brushed it off, but when she wasn't seated in the front row at one of the major runway shows, something she had expected, the reality hit hard. Paris wasn't rejecting her fame, it was rejecting her energy. To many in the fashion world, Meghan had become too polarizing, too unpredictable. One PR executive put it bluntly: Paris doesn't fear attention, it fears drama. And Meghan's name had become shorthand for both. Within days, meetings were canceled, cameras turned elsewhere, and the red carpet she expected rolled itself back up. She left Paris early, skipping multiple scheduled appearances. Witnesses say she looked tense and distant, often snapping at staff, avoiding the press. For someone who had arrived to reclaim her spotlight, she left with it dimmed, replaced by whispers of arrogance and disappointment. Paris Fashion Week had sent its message: influence isn't granted, it's earned. Back in Montecito, the damage control machine kicked in fast. Meghan's PR team scrambled to rewrite the narrative. Suddenly, stories appeared painting her as a misunderstood visionary, a woman too bold for the conservative world of haute couture. Others hinted that Balenciaga's own controversies had made them insecure about working with such a high-profile figure. The spin was clear: Meghan wasn't rejected. She rose above the system. Paparazzi soon captured serene photos, yoga mats, coffee runs, peaceful smiles, the Duchess of Calm after the storm. But insiders whispered that behind the smiles was anger, frustration, and a hunger for redemption. Then, something shifted. Instead of chasing acceptance, Meghan decided to create her own lane. She quietly began building a fashion line of her own, one that reflected sustainability, inclusivity, and modern empowerment. No gatekeepers, no drama, just purpose. Her team recruited young, diverse designers, focused on ethical materials, and crafted a brand rooted in authenticity. When the line launched months later, Meghan stepped out in one of her own designs. Simple, elegant, confident, and this time, the world noticed. Critics praised her for breaking free from the fashion elite's grip and for building something that actually meant something. For the first time in a long time, Meghan wasn't following, she was leading. As her line gained attention, Balenciaga faced its own string of negative press, backlash, controversy, and a dip in public favor. Some observers called it karma, others just called it timing. But one thing was undeniable: Meghan's resilience had flipped the narrative. The Duchess, who was erased from fashion's inner circle, had re-emerged as a self-made designer with a message: influence isn't bought, borrowed, or begged for, it's built. Today, in early 2025, insiders say Meghan's brand continues to grow quietly, focusing on real women rather than runways. Her Paris chapter might have closed in silence, but her comeback has been anything but quiet. Paris may have rejected her, but the world, it seems, is ready to listen again. Because love her or hate her, one thing's for sure: Meghan Markle never stays down for long.